Yeah.
Should I get some? Does anyone want any, like a Red Bull or anything
Hello?
on the table?
Hi.
Capri Sun.
You alright?
Still spelling side. Do you guess what I shouldn't do that now? 3, 2, 1.
We're live. Let's go.
Oh, we're live. We're just gonna stick with that.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Let's do it.
Off we go.
Oh, you kidding?
No,
Yeah.
let's go.
So somebody please explain where we are and what is Happy Ninja Media and
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to pick up on some of the sides just said. Yeah, I did come up with the idea originally, but I feel like it was just something I've always wanted to do because I've been hanging around with these guys now for about 20 years, and some of the most fun that I have is when I come meet up with them and I just listen to the stuff that they talk about, and it just makes me laugh. And I just thought the content that you guys talk about is just funny enough for people to just learn more about you guys and how you work as a unit, because you guys have been together quite a long time.
This long, long, winding road.
Yeah, so I just wanted to be more like a fly on the wall sort of thing and just capture just like the fun that you guys have, because yeah, it's just like people need to see it because I think it makes people laugh, and that's my reason for doing it.
Well, I was thinking today about cornflakes, and
Right.
and I'm wondering why
Here we
they
go.
added the vitamin D to the cornflakes, when that was, because that's when they didn't turn vegan. I also wondered if sleigh bells are called sleigh bells because they're better than the other bells. That's a young person's kind of
Sleigh
thing,
all
though.
day.
Exactly. Is that what I was thinking about
Can we
today?
go back to the cornflakes thing again? So they aren't vegan.
No, they've got vitamin D in, and unfortunately it comes from lamb's wool. Kellogg's are a bit of a for that.
Yeah.
So we've got to get on the whole Kellogg's thing, but that's not why we're here.
But it's interesting.
Isn't it?
Like,
Just, exactly. So let's get Kellogg's on the next show and see what they can see what
We're going
they.
big.
There
We're
we go.
going big.
We're going straight for the
Let's
Kellogg's.
go for the stars.
Let's go straight for
it.
Tony Tiger. See how he's getting on
I mean, he's
nowadays.
a bit of a...
He's on.
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely a Hong Konger. Jim says the audio is far better, so that's good.
Excellent.
We're learning.
As we get project, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Project.
I think
Project.
it's the first one, so I'm sure we have some hiccups, but let's we've got some good things coming up, which I'm probably going to start now. Actually, I've got a bit of a blankety blank for everybody at home and for Si and Rob here at Happy Ninja Media. What I want you to do is, by the end of our show, which we're going to try and do about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more, I want you to come up with this missing word, okay? I've got an idea in my head, and I think it's the best answer, but I want yours at home. And we're going to give you a prompt at the end of the show to submit them all, and I kind of want to see if you can make Rob and Si laugh their face off. So here we go, you're listening. Here we go. The guitarist was an instant success. The crowd were amazed. Instead of using a plectrum, the guitarist was using a blank instead. I'm going to repeat that one more time.
Okay.
The guitarist was an instant success. The crowd were amazed. Instead of using a plectrum, the guitarist was using a blank instead.
Oh.
Wow.
Think about that one. Come back to us. I'll give you another shout in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's. I'm now.
I've immediately gone for something serious
Because that's against form. You're playing against form.
Sorry.
No, it's a good thing.
Okay.
Improv.
Do you know something else I thought of as well? So we need. That's why I was coming down in the intros. We need a theme tune. I thought, I was just thinking, well, there's 3 of us here around the table. We each play an instrument of some sort to some level of professionalism. Now we're getting to that age where we're there. We're getting there. And I thought, well, one of us could just do a beat. One of us could do the vocal line, and the other one could do some synth. So I'll do the beat because obviously I'm experienced
You're the drummer out of the bunch.
in percussion.
Yeah.
So and then you can do this. You can do the vocals because you sing like me when you shout.
I do. Yeah.
Better version. You can do the synth. So if it's just 10 seconds.
But you know what this is going to turn into?
What?
It's going to turn into jump.
Don't do that now. Okay, so if I go synth.
Yeah. 3 men talking over coffee in the shit studio. No, we don't.
Okay, it's a good try.
Yeah.
I expected you to go wow, jump.
I was going to say it's shit table, but then I was going to go into jump. And then I offended myself talking shit about the studio.
Oh, yeah.
You've been here for so long. This is your place. This is
I
your
know, I love
home.
it.
Okay, I tell you what. Let's give him a bit of Happy Ninja history.
Yeah.
Where are we?
This is where we need to dim the lights. That because
Ooh, you needed a
Smoke
week.
machine. That's what,
You see.
the ghosts.
Size.
The studio.
Size history hour.
Not
Not an hour though. Please, not an hour.
Yeah.
We were debating about the smoke machine, and we realised that with the cost of electricity at the moment, we could only had chance for one blast of the smoke machine, and unfortunately, as you realised, I didn't realise we were online.
I wouldn't like that pressure, if I'm honest.
I know.
That's
What,
a
the
lot of
smoke
pressure.
machine
Just
is,
one
yeah.
blast.
Yeah, maybe next time. Maybe we can bring out the smoke machine if we have a special guest.
Special guest.
When they walk in.
Yes.
When they walk in.
Through the door.
Yes.
Yes. It's already taken off, lads.
Like a wrestling like
taken off.
entrance.
Oh, Rob.
That's what we're doing next
We'd
time.
do this. We'd do the music again.
That is it.
We'd do the music.
I got my pencil! Every week! A different one every week.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
So basically,
David Coverdale though, yeah.
Yeah, this is basically what. Whenever I come invited to the studio, this is what happens. We've got something to do, but we never do it.
Oh, no, what happens is we talk about all these great ideas that we have, and then 3 years later they happen. So, we're men that think about things, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Think about things.
So, right, come on, Happy Ninja Media.
back
Come
to
on,
Happy
somebody
Ninja
else.
Media.
Fill in the gap. People who do not know, Happy Ninja Media is the home of Jess's Divide and Phill. And also some very beautiful people.
I love that. I think that's like a project in the future.
It's
I
always
can do synth.
It always has been this. Wherever Nick, Rob, and myself have been, Phill has always been, because Phill was livid, and then Rob became livid, and then livid went bang, and then Nick, Rob, Phill, and I just kind of sank into Happy Ninja Media. And explain where we are and how we got here, please.
Would you like to delegate or?
Yeah, meeny, miny, mo. I love my baby's pound cake.
Oh,
Let's go. Okay.
so explain it. Just ask me the question.
All right. So the question is what is Happy Ninja Media, and how the hell did we get here? Where did it first start?
Yeah.
And where are we now?
Happy Ninja Media is a vibe, man. No, so Happy Ninja Media came about because there's just a lot of faff when you're a band and you rent and you want studio space. There's a lot of faff, and we didn't want faff.
We don't like faff, do
We
we?
don't like faff. Plus, we're in a lot. We're in like 3 times a week. A lot of weeks, and that's just very expensive if you're trying to rent a place, isn't it? So rather than kind of doing that, we decided that we wanted to rent our own space, and it seemed more economical to kind of get a space where we could share with people. And we started Happy Ninja Media, and that's where we recorded a lot of our own stuff, because at the beginning we did do recording at Happy Ninja as well.
We're very fortunate that we're quite self-sufficient. I mean, you're very talented in the whole mixing, recording elements of things. You've got a really good ear. It's what you're trained to do. Nick and I jumped on the back of that. And that comes to another point later on down the line about, doing too much for yourself, because it isn't necessarily a good thing, because it can wear you out, which we can touch on that either another point or later on in the session. But you're right, Happy Ninja Media, at the time, years ago, it was much cheaper for 4 people to collate their cash of what would be 3 sessions a week at, £20 a session.
Yeah.
It was much cheaper to actually rent an industrial unit,
Yeah.
pay that little bit extra for the rates, etc., and actually just make sure it's somewhere you can make noise and you're off the ground. And we shared that with a lot of other bands as well at the time. There were other groups around that time. There was Blue Origin, there was Hollywood Tees, and things along those, which were all kind of manifested, I think, here as well in on this complex of some sort.
Which is an interesting sort of another interesting point is this complex, which we'll get onto. That.
We've got to invite John.
We've got to invite John, the landlord. John is a legend.
Yeah, that'd be ace. That would.
Yeah,
that'd be
stories.
special.
Yeah.
That'd be a special.
I think I'll probably just extend on that point where at one point in Livy we actually rehearsed as like a resident band in a place called Shelton, and that was the very first time we got a chance to kind of like leave our stuff set up. We had our own room. We like called in 3 times a week, and I think once you go into that sort of mentality of having a space where it's yours and you can have like you can just play until you're tired and then leave without like packing your stuff away. As drummers, worst thing in the world, setting up and packing down every time you need a rehearsal.
Yeah.
I think once you go to that kind of, you've got your own space, we never really went back. It was always the first route. We did try, didn't we, a studio at one point. We just went and hired for the day. But we instantly knew, after leaving that place in Shelton, that this wasn't for us. We weren't the kind of band that wanted to just go to one place and then pay somebody to do it, because we had an intense rehearsals
schedule that we
Yeah.
stuck to it to make it stronger.
Tuesday, Thursday, which has kind of resonated into Jesse's Divide as well. And,
it's kind of been our.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it. I mean, how many studios have we had now?
As a team, Happy Ninja Media have been to at least, this is the 4th, I think.
Isn't it? Yeah, isn't it?
Did we start originally? So we started here back on Minkstone work in the old Livid in Shatner, the old Livid studio, top floor. Then we moved to.
I'm not convinced that we ever named that Ninja then.
No, we didn't. No, Happy Ninja Media was established when we moved to Regent Road in Hanley. There was a terraced house that was an industrial unit.
I didn't know that.
It was an industrial unit, and no, it wasn't an industrial unit. It was classed as industrial, even though it was a terraced business property.
Yeah.
But then unfortunately, it was set up. There was a basement. There's a video somewhere that we can bring out if people wanted to see how we set it up. We had a recording room in the top. Phil had his own little room for all his drums upstairs we could practice, and then we had the front room for like parties, downstairs storage, and the middle room for rehearsals. It was very small, but it worked. And unfortunately, residential units turned into residential next door. We don't.
Yeah, I remember when we left. That comment just lived with me for today.
What did they say?
I think the guy said, "Oh, thanks for that." Because you were unloading all that stuff, and it's just I can't believe that was a rehearsal studio. It's just
it's wild, isn't it?
I can see why it annoys somebody.
We tried our best to soundproof it, though. We really did.
We did.
You know, we put all that.
I remember that room in the middle.
Yeah,
that room was ace.
The drum cage.
Yeah.
We built the drum cage full of duvets and everything else we could think for padding the walls, etc. We blocked up the windows. It was just fantastic. It was a bit scary because there were a lot of there was an attempted break-in around the back that we had the police involved in because it was Hanley. It wasn't a nice place for people to be hanging around either. You know, it wasn't very pleasant. So that was Regent Road.
Yeah, that was Regent Road. That was an interesting one.
Then we moved to there's an industrial works.
Yeah.
Which was essentially a warehouse.
That space was awesome.
Massive
when we walked
space
into
was
there,
amazing.
it was like, oh my god, this is the place.
It was just such a big
but
long
shall we start?
Long mold.
Shall we make a list?
Yeah. Made her own toilet. That was brilliant. That was super.
That's a story for next time.
Just
to summarise what it was is before. Forgive me, I can't pronounce the name, but the liquid distribution site, is it BARGH? Used to be the Shire's bathrooms. We went exploring. We scouted for a music video.
City. It's on there. It's on YouTube.
And it was such a great. It was all derelict. It was run down. It was the perfect visual.
You did that video?
Yeah, I love that video. Yeah.
It's cool.
Almost died, but that's another story for the next time. But we were just walking through. And I felt like I was in a Fallout.
Yeah.
You know, when you go through a drawer and you find all these bits and you're like, oh, what can I take? Oh, there's
all these bottles.
Nukem Cola and yeah. But that was a cool site, and Si found.
Oh, I did. I walked away with a toilet.
A urinal,
urinal.
Yeah.
Of which we.
I think this is where we need a button now where it just starts playing the A-Team tune in MIDI. Just really low, and we can just tell the story of how you installed
a toilet. Of which after 2 weeks fell down.
It did.
Smash.
Yeah.
But that might have something to do with the fact that we installed a basketball ring right near it
as
well.
It was like a basketball ring. You could probably play basketball whilst
whilst peeing.
Which is,
Yeah.
Oh, it was so
not
funny.
many places can say that.
No, it's because it was advertised. It was an industrial site. It was genuine, paid rent, etc.
Yeah.
And it was a registered unit, and we were advertised with a toilet, which we could go to. Unfortunately, the security guard wasn't working when we rehearsed in the evenings and at weekends.
Yeah.
So we had to have a code to go in. So we got the code to go in, no problem at all. There's an alarm. No one told us about the alarm.
No.
Start peeing, all of a sudden, and then that's called the security house. It's like, what, James, having the poo, man?
Yeah. It's the worst. It's like if you've never had a very high decibel alarm go off while you're in mid-flow, then I don't recommend it.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
I don't recommend.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
So that was there. So that's a story. We could actually do episodes on each studio.
It was freezing though, wasn't it?
So it was very cold.
It was so cold.
It was bullshit. There's nothing you could do to heat that place. I mean, that place was so. If you think about like, we've not even talked about. We built a control room in that place.
Yeah.
So
we
this
built it
building
all up.
must have had ceilings that were probably, I'm not exaggerating, probably about from floor to ceiling about 20 foot.
I was thinking 18, 20 foot.
They were
Yeah.
huge. They were
Yeah.
absolutely massive. And just the layout, it looked like. It reminded me like Big, Tom Hanks is Big, when he buys his apartment.
Yeah.
Just that space that we just filled. I can imagine all the cool stuff with the little ramp when we did the Star Wars.
Yeah, there's a Star Wars
still
online
on that,
somewhere.
still
Yeah,
on
we're
there
all hammered
Yeah.
on that video. Nick almost falls over at the end. You need to find that video.
No, I think he does fall over. I'm pretty sure he goes.
He's close.
Oh.
And then we moved, didn't we? Just down the road opposite the snooker club.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
You scouted that one, and I remember the first message you sent to us. And he said, like, "Guys, you got to see this place." And again, it had that like massive impact factor. Where we walked in and it was like you could see this here, you could see this there. And the control room was just mega. Those double doors that you pushed
Well,
open.
it was an old pottery showroom, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So it still had all the sort of really like old school grandeur, didn't it? Like
the mahogany, the rich like wooden paneling.
Smelled like it did. It did.
It smelled classy and
We
smoky.
recorded some EPs there as well, didn't we? So it's got a history.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was a really nice place if it wasn't for the stairs
But
and the roof falling in.
Yeah, it was a big flat roof with leaks everywhere.
It leaked.
Yeah.
It leaked. The system that we built though to control the water.
That was like our opening, wasn't it? For where we could see like other bands come to
Yes,
use.
that's it. Yeah,
They needed it, and people.
Yeah.
I think people vibed on what we were doing and the vision that we had, where we could kind of see like how we would employ what we learned, like what we made us comfortable playing, and we wanted to kind of like give other bands that kind of same feeling, same vibe.
Yeah,
because it's about you. Because when I'm in a place where I'm comfy, I just play my best.
Yeah.
Rather than like when I'm too cold or.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's important. Like when you come into a place and you think like, oh, this is nice. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Whereas if you start out coming into a place and you're just thinking like, oh, it's freezing, everything's like it's been awkward. You set your drums up and everything's like.
My drums got wrecked at that place. Absolutely wrecked.
Yeah.
Cold. And then we knew there was lots of problems and the landlord wasn't helping.
Rent went up as well.
Yeah. And we were at a point where we kind of wanted somewhere else and we were looking, and I was a bit panicked because I was thinking like, what we're going to do next.
Yeah.
And then Si gets a call, a message.
Oh, but get bombarding, John.
From John.
Yeah.
John
Get
says
bombarding.
like, I've got this place. Do you think a band would like it? And we were like, come on, let's just have a nosy. Let's just see what it's like. Let's just poke our heads in, see if it's any good. My feeling was like,
do you know what? I'm going to grab the photo.
Yeah. Do it.
Can I have a sugar-free Red Bull, please?
Yes, you may.
Oh no, can I have a regular?
Ooh.
I'm not fast.
Okay,
I'm
so
not fasting.
while Rob is just going, I'm going to remind you about the blankety blank game. We've got here's the sentence. I want you to fill in the blank for me. The funniest one to make Si and Rob laugh wins. I don't know what I'll win. I've just bought a badge maker. My wife and I have just bought a badge maker, so we're celebrating that. So I'll make you a special Happy Ninja Media badge for the one who makes Rob and Si laugh. Here we go. The guitarist was an instant success.
Thank you.
The crowd were amazed. Instead of using a plectrum, the guitarist was using a blank instead.
So we've got teeth so far.
It's been a while since.
Oh yeah, you use teeth. That's good.
Oh, that's proper. Brian May used a penny, didn't he? An old penny.
Yeah, all thrifty
Was that
bits.
just
And Van Halen blamed a part of his cancer on using the metal picks or something, wasn't it?
really?
He used, yeah.
Nice to
metal
see
cancer.
that. We need to dive into that, don't we?
I think we need to do like the news.
I'm
If this
interested.
becomes a regular thing, we do. What was in the news this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me just
Here we go.
hold this up to the
Sorry,
camera
Rob.
there.
There you go.
Sorry, mate. This is where we are now.
So we are sat about
Yeah.
there.
So this is the unit. It's
So what's the date, Rob? On the bottom corner.
2019 that was.
March.
So that's how it looked when
like 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where we are now. That's what it was like.
Oh man, that's so scary.
And it was just storage, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, the guys upstairs were using it.
Yeah. Do you know what's really funny? This thing, you can just about see this big lump of metal.
Oh.
We could never actually get it out of here.
It was like Thor's hammer, wasn't it?
It's in the corner. Anyone who uses Happy Ninja Media, because we've got, just touching on it briefly, we're not a place where bands drop into every so often. We've got resident bands, and that's how we intend it to be for a long time, because with the same kind of ethos as what we are in our groups, is that we want people to kind of lead this, if they want to, be comfortable here, leave some things around if they need to, etc. Come in whenever their session is their session, their day is their day. That's what we do at Ninja. We want people to relax and enjoy themselves. We're not a studio where you drop in, set up, de-rig, set back out, and don't know when you're going to begin again.
No.
So that's the difference we are. But if for the residents bands or anyone who pops in for a live stream in the future, we in the corner is that the E point is Thor's pedestal.
Yeah. We need a little plaque, don't we?
Yeah.
If anyone wants to write in with a dedication.
Incredibly heavy. Yeah. It's just like we tried. There was four grown ass men like tried to move that.
Oh, I can move this. I can.
Yeah, don't be such a child.
Nope.
With you.
The best we could do was roll it into the corner
and cover it with a blanket.
It's not there.
Yeah.
It's the heaviest thing that I've ever lifted, apart from my own depression.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
That's episode 5.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm happy to talk about that one. That's a good one.
So just to review so far, we've got the guitarist used his teeth.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got a penis.
Hey, you did that.
Of course.
That was Jimbo.
Jimbo.
Yeah. Didn't take long, but it's there.
And a uranium rod.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, aye.
Nice.
I think we should keep going with this. Keep them coming.
Come on. Yep, we're gonna have. We've hit our almost 30-minute mark.
No. We're gonna wrap this up. Where are we at? So where? Who? Why?
Okay. So I'll jump in again. This for me is also. I stopped playing the drums for about 10 years. I left Livid in the end of 2010. And I only really picked my drums up again like 2019, 2020. Just joined a covers band been with them for about a year. Thanks.
What are they called?
For me, we're called the Kilns. Yeah, sold out.
Sold out tomorrow. Well done.
Nice.
Well done.
Shout out to the lads. I never thought I'd say that.
Love it.
Shout out to
the lads. Yeah, because I watched Jesse Divide at the Rigger for a charity gig, and you know what? I just stood there and I was just a bit in disbelief that a band who are so tight and so talented at what they do. The song choice were amazing. The set list was awesome. They were so tight, and I just looked around the room and it was empty apart from the faithful fans who were at the front. I was having the best time, and I just sat there reflecting back with this kind of attitude of like, what's going on with the scene, what can we do, why is this band not playing to fill crowds, not bigger venues, and for me, I thought this would be a really good outlet to like bring hypotheses to the table and just say, well, how do we get more people to a gig, how do we get better gigs, how do we get venues to support bands and say, let's give you more cash, because it's a massive problem playing gigs for 100 quid and then coming away thinking, well, that was alright, 100 quid for 3 people is not good for a night's work. I know there's a love there, and I know it's a very, very like, volatile industry with,
If you're not willing to play for 150 quid, somebody else will.
That's a big problem in its own right. So for me, I wanted to kind of bring you behind the scenes of like what goes into a gig, what goes into rehearsal, what people are in a band, and you know we have talked about bringing guests in to talk about their experiences, because it's soul killing to work so hard for weeks and weeks and weeks and rehearse and practice and get better. I think for me it was never about the money; it was more about the empty space in a venue that really killed me. And having seen you guys like live, it's like really reignited me. I wanted to view live music again, and I think perhaps people just need that reignition to.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a.
I thought you were going to go to R. Kelly then.
Yeah. You've missed the trick.
Well, do you know, I would go into the remix, but I'm in prison.
Oh,
yeah. I know.
Yeah. That was my point of it. I just thought it'd be good to talk about what perhaps the audience don't see, and kind of like the emotions from the band's perspective. Being like brutally honest.
Have you got time to get into this now, or do we touch on it?
I think this is definitely an episode's worth. I think to bring to the conversation is kind of like, where do we draw that? Because I remember it for me, why I left Livid in particular was because that love had gone, and I think it was the love that I never really got anything from Livid financially. It was always like, if anything, just went back into the pot.
Nobody did they?
But then that was fine. I did that for 10 years, but it was more like I just couldn't put up with the effort that went into a gig. Just like at that point when I left, it was like even packing the stuff down. My drums was just so hard and so much effort to do, and as soon as you lose that as a musician, it's a massive climb back up.
I think that's true for anything, isn't it? I think that as soon as it gets to that point where it feels like an effort, it becomes really difficult to not see it as an effort, doesn't it, as well? So
completely.
But
when we're on stage, it's just a great feeling, but it's unfortunate it's only for like 60 minutes. When you feel like you've got all that prep that takes like months for that one moment where you really enjoy. It's an amazing fix, an amazing high, but it never kind of lasted. It was always like straight pack up, get home for like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then.
It was a different world kind of thing in a way back then, though, wasn't it? In those days, now it's quite possible to do it if you. It's like a flash in the pan for every band. Some bands last longer than others, and the more money you've got, the bigger the pan as such, so you don't necessarily fall out as quickly as other groups would. And I think if you've got a good injection of money on top of talent, you'll make a dent. Okay, because all of us as individuals, as personalities, as people, etc. I'm reading a lot at the minute, and this is for another episode. But each one of us, in our own way, is trying to outlive our physical body, right? Because we all start to, as we grow older, we all start to realise that we are going to die, and our bodies are going to fade away, right? And what we are doing, by any means of making music and being creative, or buying plaques to put on buildings, or donating money to somewhere else, etc. What we're doing is we're trying to carve our legacy into the future through generations, through raising children, through being kind to people. We're hoping that our story lives on. So when we're creative and we're in a band, that's subconsciously it's what we do. Okay, so this is where it becomes difficult, because if it's not fun for you, you've got to stop. And I keep saying that to other groups as well, and it's like any other job and any other business, is that if you've got money and you're willing to put the time in, you'll go. There you go. Here's a good one for you. Like the Flintstones. His little car. His little car.
Yeah.
His legs underneath. Right.
Yeah.
That's what it's like being in a band now, in my opinion. Is that it'll go. The wheels on the car and the car itself, funded by money and talent, etc. But your enthusiasm and your love for the music is Fred's little legs. Right. When they start to tire, the car stops. Right? And so all that money and all that talent is going to waste. You might coast for a bit longer if you really want to. Same thing in life, though, is it's going to end. Every journey is going to end. It is. So what you make there in the moment, whether it's an EP, an album, a song, a live show, has to have such an impact. It's got to have your full presence and your full attention there and then to make it last a legacy. Not so that night, that hour and a half, that 10 minutes on stage, that banter in between, makes somebody laugh. They remember that for their life. They'll tell somebody, you die, that stays with them. And so it's all little parts of leaving a legacy. So that's the joy of being in the band. But you've got to focus on and remember that your success isn't a destination. It's a continued journey. So there isn't a, when am I going to be successful? How will I know when I'm successful? So I've got 1 million streams.
I think that's a trap a lot of people fall into there, isn't it? That when will I be successful? Because then you're never satisfied if you're thinking like my goal is to reach the goal, because you never will. Not in something like this, because it's like how do you define that? Where'd you go? And then when you get there, you're always going to want a bit more. So you're never going to, with something like this, especially if it's like, oh, I want to play in front of X amount of people. Well, I've done that now. Right.
Am I successful?
Yeah.
Is that successful? Who would deem that? It's perception, isn't it? On who?
Yeah.
This is a great conversation.
It's a good tangent. Yeah.
To have other people involved.
So
in
for
well,
me, it's there's loads of psychology behind A, the band, and B, the audience. And ever since I did drop out of a band, I just find it fascinating, especially working in marketing and like being a designer. It's kind of like my goal to kind of work out why something's not as we want it to be.
Pick it apart.
Just see, because there's an answer somewhere. It's like there must be a way of bringing. So like when Queen started, and there was the like hub about like building up. There was no like Instagram or social media for those guys. It was all about the talk and the chat and the communication between people. And people like say, "Have you seen this band?" Maybe a little bit of newspaper, maybe a bit of the news, but still, it was almost that excitement that was. It was almost patient in a way that he built, and obviously now we're on a different side of the world where everything's just so much quicker. Our theme song could go massive in the next 10 minutes.
I think that's a real. That is such. Have everyone got time to delve into this a little?
Let's give it a couple more minutes.
Yeah, so I think that there's a real sort of rat race in creative industries in general now. I think because everything is available on demand and it's all You don't go out and buy an album anymore. You listen to it on Spotify. You listen to it on whatever else. Same with TV shows. Same with music. Same with everything. There's such a rat race of got to be constantly, got to have something constantly. Always got to be something. And the moment you haven't got something, you're irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to have a look at like say if we did some research into how long it took Queen to make their third album, how much time they had, and how long they left it in circulation to build and tour on, and like compare it to a band in modern day. But
it's all about, I think back then it was, I don't know because I wasn't there, but I imagine it was, and similar to what it is now in business, it's all about who you know. And back then there was a network of people. When you get to a certain level, those people will know people. And if that person's got a reputation for X, Y, Z, they'll listen to that person. It'll grow and it'll spread, And I think this is a really good example because I know that your group, Death of Me, is on a momentum of success right now. You've just got your first public show and it's sold out tomorrow, so you've got a momentum going as well. All right, this is where it goes. Where do you go next? Okay, because obviously you've got a really good system in place, and you know what the next few months hold for you and Death of Me.
Yeah,
I don't know what your situation is with your group either, but these next few steps are going to really matter, and this is why this is going to be good to observe and come back to this discussion on your next steps, because you will be able to explain what it's like now in a covers band and in an originals band on this journey. So we're like monitoring the metrics of success here, aren't we?
Yeah.
And we can do this whilst interacting with people.
Yeah, we had a little chat last time, didn't we, about like imagine like playing the festivals and like playing those big arena gigs that we like to step up to.
And that's a good point about and that's the sort of comparison I want to make with like the likes of Death of Me, or like we compare it to that to like Queen, and Queen, how they grew success. They went and they would have been playing like every show under the sun, like any little venues anywhere. That's how they would have got and that's how they would have got big and all that sort of stuff. We've not played a show in Death of Me yet. We've got our first show in June, and we've had play on loads of places.
Your radio, your streams. I mean, your YouTube views already outstrip Jess's Divide. 5-1. This is the kind of thing about having energy and putting things into it. Jesse's is fun for us. It is for me. And if we did put our time and energy into it and we didn't work in the day, then it could be something bigger than what it is.
But again, this isn't it, and this is where interesting experimentation, isn't it? And this would be like I'd love to see how this series goes on with us taking the things we learn everywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool,
that's good.
There could be someone watching this, and what I'm trying to get to the point of is that even the listeners at home now, you don't necessarily have to come to every gig. It's more the case of just being aware of like how hard bands work, and like even just a share or just telling your friend in the pub or at school, at college, or just say like, there's this band coming up, you should check them out, rather than just being like, not actually, just like almost being like cheerleaders for the bands, just to say like, these are really good. You don't have to buy anything. It's just like, they put on a good show, go see them. That means like so much.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to pay anybody, or you don't have to give anything away. But
if you want to buy a shirt.
Yeah.
Let's monitor this situation. Come back to it the next stream.
So obviously, the next time we'll do it, I would have played my gig, and I guess just to bring up more points, it's also the fragility of a band, because tomorrow somebody could lose heart like I did, and like say, I'm sorry, I want to leave the band, and then you've got to get someone else to fill up the place, and it's just such an amazing cocktail of like emotions and connectivity between a band, and like I said, it's just so fragile that if one thing breaks, if maybe somebody changes heart, they want to start a family or move elsewhere, then the band splits up, or the band starts to break. And I think it's fascinating. It really is. But like in a band, the world's your oyster. If you work hard enough, you can do anything. So it's a tough one. I'm sure we'll be talking about it lots more.
It is. But on that note, talking about bands and fragility and breaking up, question for everybody at home and everywhere right now is, where is Nick? Now, let's put that out to the public, and while we're waiting for responses, let's go around the table. Rob, where do you think Nick is?
Nick is.
Oh, is this love?
Hold on.
Rob's gone.
No, just
Okay.
just
Where is he?
Just do that again for me, Rob.
Just
it's there.
just checking.
Yeah.
But
this is just an interesting fact for you as well. Rob can see white text on white backgrounds.
I can, yeah. And dogs can't look up.
Where is Nick, Rob?
I think that Nick is in an existential sort of.
Oh, mate, you can't set me up for something like that. I was just going to say like real.
Yeah. We'll come to that. Okay.
You know that place where when you can't find your keys anywhere, and then a week goes by and they turn up when you've replaced them all. Nick is in the place that they go to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's in the gap behind the sofa.
He's in the sofa.
He's in the sofa.
Phil, where's Nick?
Okay, so I need some clues. How long's he been away?
Over a week now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. A good week and a bit.
Was it his decision to go? Or was he forced?
Well, life and his whole situation of being Nick probably forced him into it.
Allegedly, he went of his own.
Yeah.
Okay. I reckon he's doing a big shop in Asda.
Ooh, that's a great shout.
And he doesn't drive, does he? So he'd have to walk.
So he's doing it in segments, so he's bringing his frozen home first, putting it in his freezer. I think he's specifically chosen an Asda that's out of range, probably it's one of the bigger ones.
Right.
So it's got more range, because that's what life's all about, you see. Choices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps he's got a certain flavoured crisp, I don't know.
No.
Wow.
Could be.
Oh, we don't know. Hey, that's something for the public. What is Nick's favourite flavour crisp?
Yeah.
And why? Why I reckon it's chicken flavour, because he's a bastard. That's what I think.
Yes, he is a bastard.
Sorry.
Lovely bastard.
No, yeah.
So we've got a couple of answers about where he is.
Okay, guys,
nice.
go.
Whoa! I feel
Sorry.
like this question's getting a lot more attention than my blankety blank question. That
We'll come back to that. Don't worry. We've got a couple more. But don't forget the blankety blank question. Keep them coming, because we will be revisiting them.
There's a badge up for stake, everybody. Yeah. What shall we give for this competition for where's Nick?
Let's do it.
We've got a box of out of date flapjacks at the back.
We do, but let's rip one of his beard things off without him knowing.
Nick, choose the prize when Nick gets back.
Yeah.
Nick for penance for just being Nick has to supply the prize.
Okay. I think we also need to come back to the fact that we've done this because we had to fill in a slot. We made it sound like we've done it on purpose for it, but actually we kind of wung it. We thought, right, we need some content to go online on Friday.
The best thing is that we've done this because we wanted to. And we really thought this is a great idea. I'm loving it so far. But then Nick messaged earlier saying, "Oh, guys, do you want me to stream in? I'll drop in online." I was like, "No, off." Yeah. I'm going to have a great time with you.
He was like, "Do you want us to call?" We were like, "No."
Go on your own, do what you got to do.
Just fucking enjoy your Asda Big Shot, man. Oh, sorry. So,
Sorry, kids.
Jimbo says,
Honk honk.
where is Nick? One assumes dead.
Oh,
Which,
no.
Safe assumption.
no.
But,
You
could
said
be.
that?
Jimbo.
Oh.
But he
did say penis earlier.
He did say penis, but he
So-
said penis with a 3 instead of a
Was
instead
that,
of an E.
is that like a bot thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do an episode on bot things.
We could talk about bots.
Yeah.
And then Tara says that he's officially gotten older than her again, which happens once a year, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Or once I don't know, maybe it's like once a
Weird.
whatever
Can we
kind
find out
of.
how it works on a leap year?
Yeah.
Is there any extension on this?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Lee.
Yeah.
Okay.
See how that goes. Yeah.
Who's Lee?
Alicia.
Oh god. Oh wow.
I think he's banging old ladies.
You think he's banging
I
old
do.
ladies?
Yeah, I
How
do.
many?
Oh,
I
we
do.
asked it.
The Asda. Hey! The chicken crisp aisle.
Oh, how
no.
many?
Hey,
How many?
how many? 3.5.
Ooh.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
one died during.
Right.
So
No, yeah.
it's like,
Is it
oh
that
no,
bad?
I'm stuck.
It might be.
Hey,
Is it that bad?
It might be.
I don't know.
She choked on a chicken crisp.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
There you go.
What a way to go.
And then, but Tara says because he's got older, and I mean, I'm not convinced it's a year. Maybe it's whatever cycle. I'm not convinced that Nick operates on conventional
Can I just...
cycles.
I'm really sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But that was very rude. I think we could perhaps just do an episode where people just type in a random word and we just...
Ooh. Yeah.
The digression episode. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to the next theme tune.
Yeah.
So what
So
Tara
Tara says
say?
that he's in a care home because he's old now.
Oh, he got lost. He's got there and forgot where he
Oh,
is.
shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
We were supposed to pick him up.
with these Asda bags.
with his Asda bags.
Oh.
Oh, nuts!
He stood waiting.
Call an Uber, Nick. Nick, if you get to
Peanuts.
an Uber. Call one.
Well, yeah.
Call in, Nick. Let's hear from Nick. Where are you?
Yeah. And here he is now.
He's behind that bass drum.
He's just been crouching for ages.
I reckon he's been mistaken for Keanu Reeves'
I was
stunt
gonna
double
say
Wow.
Keanu Reeves.
for John Wick 5. And they're like, he's like, oh, it's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And Nick's like, no, I'm not Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good
No,
impression.
no,
that
no,
was,
not bad.
Do you know what that
Alright.
sounded like? It sounded like Keanu Reeves from Yorkshire.
Ah,
Yeah.
you know nothing, Nick Cotton.
Wow.
I'm the best at impressions.
There is so much Sean Pitt just there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I think he's been mistaken for a stunt double, and he's been roped into some sort of dodgy film, now a porno.
Yeah.
So
John Prick.
baby dick.
And this is like this is like a real life enactment of when I'm called down for a meeting.
Yeah.
This is how it goes. What are we on now? Like 50 minutes into
Oh,
it.
sugar.
It just goes
Okay,
to pot.
let's wrap it
Yeah.
up because people will be getting bored.
Let me
no
just
chance.
let
No,
me,
come
I'll
on,
go
let's get
through
to it,
the.
come on.
Okay.
So Jim also suggests that he's probably combing his hair, which he hasn't done for a long time. So he's having to relearn how.
Okay.
Oh,
Baby
Yeah.
steps, Nick. Baby steps.
baby
Yeah,
steps,
okay.
baby steps.
Yeah.
Trust
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
5,
Cool.
6, 7, 8.
Ace. That's good.
Wow.
Wow.
I ain't talking about love today, are we?
Oh goodness.
No.
Wow.
Goodness
It's
gracious.
just,
It's an eruption.
I feel like I've just blacked out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Should we go back to the blankety blank before we finish?
Sure, yeah.
So just to recap, the guitarist was
Was it? Forgive me, Rob, again
Yes.
once more. Oh, that's very rude of me.
no.
Second strike now. The guitarist was an instant success. The crowd were amazed. Instead of using a plectrum, the guitarist was using a blank instead.
So we had teeth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give it out of 5. How good's that an answer?
Teeth.
Yeah, did it make you laugh? Did it make you
Hendrix
chuckle?
out of 5.
Hendrix out
Didn't
of
make me
5.
laugh. I thought it was a nice comment, and the fact that they made
It was
effort to
plausible,
join
wasn't
in.
it? Yeah, it was
Yeah,
plausible.
yeah.
I
I'm
can
going to
see
give it a
happening.
2.5.
If you had to,
Okay, so teeth was
describe the amount
2.5.
of mirth,
Mirth.
yeah, like
What's that mean?
laughter. Like,
Oh,
I tell you what we need
2.
next. We need paddles, don't we? We need score paddles.
ooh, yes, I
Yeah.
like
That'd
that.
be good. Let's get right.
Yeah, so that's
Note that down.
2.5.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh,
you've got a pen there
maybe-
too.
well, then come on. Hold it still.
2.5.
Hold it
Sorry.
still.
2.5.
Okay, I think so. So we've designated size the scorer now.
Yeah.
So next T times 2.5.
So we had teeth, then we had a penis, but with a 3 instead of an E.
That's a 3. I do appreciate
Does that have
a
any
penis.
detrimental effect?
On the guitar playing.
Oh, sorry, I need to get silent. I think
It's,
it's a 3.
yeah, my pen's
Three.
running
Do you
out.
think that would affect the tone based on how erect it was?
Get some good power chords.
Could have some really like soft playing.
Chugging.
Yeah.
D.
The.
Good and drop D, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to drop it.
Oh.
Right.
Okay,
Anyway.
so
Okay.
penis is in the lead.
So yeah, penis, uranium rod. He was playing uranium rod.
Uranium rod is fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think it's quite original.
It is quite original. Yeah.
Yeah.
I applaud the originality of it.
Yeah.
I'm staying on 3 still. I'm not
It's going
laughing.
to be Italian.
Okay, I'm staying on 3.
Then he wasn't using the plectrum. He was using a 10mm socket.
Oh, I like that. There you go. That's your 4. There you
That's
go.
good. That is good.
I like the specificity as well.
Yeah, it could have been a 12.
It's such a handy
Could have been.
size.
7.5.
Yeah,
You know, like for a
yeah.
Fiat engine.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
could be.
Yeah.
Well,
No, don't
It's
want.
like-
No.
No.
I hate it when that happens.
I-
I'm like,
Would
why
you-
Okay, let me
have you
get
done
before.
this?
Oh, what we got? We're on 53, right? Okay,
Right.
so I like that because I can see it kind of being like an improv.
Yeah.
Like, so you go through all your kit and you're like, oh, what can I use instead? Obviously, if you're getting like a slide guitar, you can use like a beer bottle. I want to ask you the question: have you ever improvised with anything during a gig because you forgot something? I've got a good example. For a first recording session with Livy, and Nick always talks about this 20 years later, I forgot my drum stool, so I had to use Nick's amp that he just bought to play the drums I sat on.
Nice.
So that's that one. I'll pass it over to you, Si.
Have I ever improvised at a show?
Have you ever improvised that shows a very different question?
Yes, okay.
Yeah,
have I
that's a skill.
used anything? I have used a beer bottle. I've used a mic stand for slidey guitars. I've used many things as a pick because I've dropped my pick
Anything in
somewhere.
particular?
Fingers, pennies, whatever I can find in my pocket.
But not
That's
your
the one.
fingers.
Not my. Oh,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
a good
Yeah.
show.
Improvised.
Have a dwell on it if you want to bring it back to the next
No,
session.
I haven't done nothing though.
I'm trying to think if I've ever had to. I mean,
drummers do it all the time.
yeah.
We like,
When we were in the States, the drum kit. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say. The drum kit we'd hired. We went and checked it all out, and it's like, yeah, this is all great. It's all there. And then when we got to the first gig, I don't know if I've ever told you about it.
No.
We got to the first gig and I put it all up, and it transpired that they'd given me a throne top that didn't fit the stand they'd given me.
Oh, that
So
happens.
It just didn't. It was just like, I haven't got a stool. So the whole tour I didn't have a stool. I didn't have a stool for the whole thing. I either had to borrow. In fact, the first gig, I borrowed a stool off someone. The headline band, was it? The band that we were playing with, and it was the first time I'd ever used a hydraulic stool.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Oh yeah, it made me feel sick.
Yeah, me too. I felt seasick.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh god, this is horrible.
I remember playing
Yeah.
Lionel Richie's Dancing on the Ceiling and almost throwing up after the song.
I finished the gig just like, why does anyone put themselves through that? And I don't really understand. Another tangent, but I don't understand why anyone would have a hydraulic stool, because how often when you're playing drums do you want to change your seat height? I don't think I've ever
I don't
midway
have an answer.
through drums. I'm not like, oh, I could just do with it. Oh, there we go. Oh, sound. No, never. You know, maybe some people like that there.
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's put it
Yeah.
out there
Good-
to the universe.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Good example.
I think one episode I'd like to go to the tour of the States as well for some.
Oh, there's
behind the
some
scenes
great
stories.
stuff there.
I'm sure there's some
There
stories.
really is.
Very good
Oh, it's
stories.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
So that was 10mm socket, which
Yeah,
is pretty good.
that's done
Great
4
answer,
so
great
far.
answer, yeah.
We're winning.
Then we had cucumber.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's good. Yeah.
That's good. 3.5.
3.5.
Oh,
fine.
I think that's off.
It's not 10mm
But
socket
you know
though.
what? Yeah. My
10mm
reaction
sockets
was
over
great.
there.
Oh.
Yeah.
This one's quite good.
Go
A
on.
spatula.
Oh, okay, Spatula City. Spatula City.
I'm staying on 3.
You staying on 3?
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah, not 10mm sockets.
Still on.
Sausages.
4.25.
4.25.
there you
Whoa.
The sausages.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
4.25 for sausages, everybody.
4.25
Wow.
for sausages.
Okay.
it's such a simple answer. It's almost
Oh,
penis-like.
We've got another answer for wear knickers as well. Which
Oh,
is
yeah,
Okay,
bring it on.
okay.
my
Yeah.
favourite so
We've
far.
got 3 minutes left, everybody.
Nick's in IKEA.
Oh, in the kids
yes.
section.
He's lost.
So he's lost, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think he went in for?
Meatballs. didn't even need anything.
I think I'm going to use that for blankety blank next week. Yeah, Nick
What
and Ikea.
did Nick get for an IKEA?
Oh, sorry, not next week, by the way. It's
Next time.
Next week
I'm
is
already
a,
getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. Week in this scenario is a very, very, loose term.
Okay, well, have we got any more answers on that one, and I'll wrap us up.
So that is our final answer.
I would like to know if you two got an answer for that.
For what the
For the
guitarist?
blankety blank, yeah.
Brian May's hardened shit. I mean, there you go.
Oh fuck!
There you go.
Oh, I don't
Wow.
know. I don't think I can.
Shaped as a pick.
Shape.
Yep.
They took the time.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So it's not even like they were improvising.
No.
It wasn't
Good
like they were
luck
like,
with
what?
that
what
Good
going
luck
on?
following that.
I don't know how. I don't know how to follow that.
I'll give you my answer.
Go on then.
The guitarist was an instant success. The crowd were amazed. Instead of using a plectrum, the guitarist used an Alsatian instead.
Gauge 0.K9.
Oh.
Or a copy of K9 on DVD.
That Jim Belushi. Was that Jim Belushi in K9?
Yeah, it was.
Brill.
Jerry Lee, yeah.
And as Jim says, I'll now reveal the winner. It was Brand Mum. It was me mum with sausages. Well
done, Jeanette.
Yes.
Excellent. Well done. Well done. And a honk for you.
Yeah.
Well done, Jeanette. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Is there anything you'd like to add before I wrap up and everything?
Thanks for joining in. Thanks you for everything. For everything in general. We use this as a bit of an experiment, and I've had a great time. I would love to do it again. If anybody's got any feedback, please feel free to pass it on. If you liked it, let us know.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, then just
keep yourself to yourself, you dick.
Okay.
But yeah,
I was going to say, why don't you plug your gig, but you've said it out. So.
We'll wrap it round. At the end, aren't we? Let me wrap it up, and then you guys, I'll hand it over to you two,
Cool.
and then we'll say goodbye. Bruce. Okay. So, are we on me? All right.
Yes.
Final note to everybody: don't forget, you're going to die. Okay. Your body's not going to last. You're going to start falling to pieces, and everything's going to start falling apart. Everything that you know and you love is going to eventually drift away from you. So.
and end stream.
So the message there is to have a bloody good time and have a great weekend. I'd like to say a massive thank you for tuning in and sticking around this long, and thank you for participating. It means a lot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask these two in a second exactly what their next steps are, and then we're going to come back to that at the start of the next show. So for myself, it's Jesse's Divide and Thunderhammer. Well, I think Jesse's Divide of the next show on the 1st of April, and that's in Whitchurch, I believe. Is that correct, Rob? Fill me in on my left ear.
It is Whitchurch on the 1st of April.
Whitchurch on the 1st of April. So Jesse's Divide will be there. I'll tell you all about that show afterwards. Thunderhammer at the Foxlow next month as well. It's a big show. We're learning songs ready for Trentham. So I'll let you know how that goes. Myself personally, I'm just going to stay alive and have a good time, like all you are, hopefully. And I'm going to move over to Mr. Rob Barnes, who's going to tell us about Death of Me and his life. Okay,
So
go.
yeah, 1st of April is the next Jesse's gig, which is going to be great. But my other project is, as I said, Death of Me. We've got a single out at the minute that's doing well for itself.
It's a single call, Rob.
The single is called Your Heart, the Casket. Cheery as balls.
I liked the song that you played for us the other day.
Thank you.
That was ace. I can't wait to hear that in
Yes.
the public.
I like synth.
There you go.
Love a band with synth, and especially singers who don't scream. Love that. I think I'm going to come watch you.
Oh yeah.
There
So
you go.
that our first show is June the 17th
Where's that? Oh,
at the Underground.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I made a note of that.
And if Nick isn't in IKEA, I'm sure you'll make an effort to come down, won't he?
Yeah.
And maybe if he's not in IKEA.
Okay. It's
And
definitely
I'm going to pass over to Phil.
Mr. Phill Ward,
Right.
the legend, the boy.
Let's not go too far.
No, this is it. The boy is back. The boy is back involved with us. This is Happy Ninja Phil, the Kilns Phil.
Yeah,
Where are you at, brother?
I am playing a gig tomorrow at Limestone Brewery in Stone.
Are there any tickets left, Phil?
No tickets left. Sold out quite fast.
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Great venue.
I hope that we can play some more public shows. And it just feels nice to be playing the drums again live. It's a great feeling. And it's great to be back. I love music. Music's in my blood. I've only just realised this, but it's kind of like, it's good to know now, so I'm going to take advantage of it.
What would you say to all those people who are going to see you for the first time this weekend?
I hope you've got your dancing shoes, because I am looking forward to playing all the cool songs that we picked. We've gone for songs that cover bands don't tend to do, because we're very fortunate to have a keyboard player. So come along and listen to some of the classics, you want to call.
Nice.
And just have a good dance. It's always a good vibe. We aim to make sure everybody has a good time.
Okay.
I missed the show that Silent See You at, and I can't wait to come see you
Thanks,
guys. I really can't.
yeah, it's cool.
Don't forget, if your keyboard player ever is ill, you might one of us up and we, wow.
I think as long as we have a headset, then that's fine. I can do two things at once. I've got two hands.
Oh yeah, Britney Spears mic.
Yeah. So,
You got this. I'm looking forward to the next theme tune.
Got it. So that was Jump by Van Halen, by the way.
It was. It was the remastered version. Just
one more note from me. Sorry.
eShop.
We've mentioned before, very quickly, about how important it is that people spread the word. If we get a few more members of the audience for the next show, then that'd be absolutely amazing. So if I can put a personal plea out to say, tell your friends when the next one is, when we let you know, and just spread the message, and let's get more people involved. Tell other bands, tell friends.
Excellent. Let's apart from Mr. Kellogg's, let's see who else, if we can get a special guest on.
Ooh, yes. Ooh.
Okay.
We'll have Nick as well next time, hopefully. So.
Okay.
If he survives, thank you.
I do like him, he's alright.
Oh, I do.
He's alright, nice guy. Thinks he's funny.
He's comfortable.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool. 4 minutes past 9.
Well done,
everybody.
Anyway, thank you all so much. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Rob. I really enjoyed this. Guys, hope you have too. From Happy Ninja Media, I am Si. He is Rob.
I'm just going to press all the buttons to see which ones get.
He is Phil. And we're out of here.
Yeah!
Woo! Next time. Have we gone off?
No.
Brilliant. Baby oil pants.
I'm going to stop it right there.